Coming to you live from Fayetteville, Arkansas, in the beautiful Appleby Business Center studios. It's time for Northwest Arkansas Business Radio with Adam Robison.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Robison, and I'm your host for another episode of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio. Now, sometimes we bring business owners and other entrepreneur types on the show, and we just talk about their business, their superpower, or their business's superpower. And we're going to do the same thing today, but just with a little bit of a twist. I've recently met somebody, and when I meet somebody new, I want to know, who do they know that I need to know? And so I'm going to turn that fortune on to you, our audience, and say that I've met somebody that I think you need to know. This is Big Michael Wright. He goes by Big Mike, and he is just an enigmatic character. He does business here in the area, but he's got a fantastic, inspiring story that I want to bring to our listeners of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio, just to make sure that you guys now know him too. So, to our audience of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio, welcome, meet Michael Wright. He's just an awesome individual. I'll let him say hi and tell just a little bit more about yourself. Big Mike, go ahead and say hello to our audience.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Big Mike, and I'm with Verma Associates, and I'm your local real estate agent. I'm the associate pastor at Christian Life Center in Centerton, and man, I'm excited to be here. I'm trying to get all my nerves together.
Yeah, I get it.
This is just so exciting.
I get it.
And it's been a while since I've been on the microphone.
It's really a pretty great place just to share your story and to relax. You'll see the nerves will go here real soon. So let's go ahead. The best way that we can make those nerves go away is to burn off some adrenaline, right? So as a former football player, you're familiar with line drills and all that good stuff. Well, a line drill on a podcast is just to get you to start talking, right? Yeah. Which is a whole lot easier. So tell us about your journey from poverty to becoming an entrepreneur in Bentonville.
Man, that's a great question. My journey from poverty to and getting to where I'm at today in my life, man, it's a nice little long journey. But just to kind of put this all in a nutshell, to be honest with you, I grew up in a poor environment. My mom was a single mom. She had a husband at one point in time, but he was an alcoholic, and so eventually he left, and I grew up with a single mom. And when you have a single mom, you have a lot of single mom issues,
Yeah.
And so, but with that, we had some complications, and at 14, me and my mom got into a little situation, and she put me out the house when I was 14. So
my goodness.
I know. I want to say this clearly. We have a great relationship now. We have a great relationship, but in that time, it is what it was. And so,
moms are good like that, right? Like that, they can take us at our knuckleheaded worst, and then still come back around and love us a little bit later.
Man, love.
Thank God for mamas.
Thank God for mamas.
All right, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you, but we just want to give a shout out to mama.
No, you're good, man.
All right.
And my mom loves me, man, and I really appreciate her. And hindsight 2020 now, I'm thankful for that moment.
Oh yeah.
I'm thankful. It's tough, but going through that journey, I grew up with my grandma, and my grandma told me I could put a roof over your head, but you have to survive on your own. And at this time, I was in high school, and eventually I dropped out of high school, and so I'm sitting down, 18 years old, homeless, don't have no place to go, and sitting on the stairs crying and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do about my life. And so I called my aunt who lived in Bentonville. They all say she was the crazy believer. So don't call her. She's crazy. But I ended up calling her to give her a chance because I needed a place to go. Like I said, I was homeless, sleeping in my car. And so she gave me an opportunity. She told me to come move to Bentonville, Arkansas. And then when I moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, she told me she was going to feed me pizza and wings. I hung up with the phone, bro, and I was like, I'm on my way. Before I hung up, I said, I'm on my way when she said pizza and wings. I hung up, and I zoomed to Bentonville, and that's where my journey from changing from a poverty mindset to growing in a totally different path, okay? Mm-hmm. But before that, if you don't mind me saying this, before, it was around 2012, I was living it up and I was at a party. Mm-hmm. And so I prayed for the first time. And then I was working 3 jobs at the time too. But I prayed, and now next thing you know, I lost all those jobs, and that's how I ended up homeless, sleeping in my car.
Gosh.
But even though I had 3 jobs, don't get me wrong, I still had a poverty mindset. You know, I was still doing things, you know, being crazy, wilding out. But, you know, I was young. And but I learned a lot in those moments. So now I moved to Bentonville because my aunt, she called me. And so I'm sitting there. So I went to this church service, and that's where I gave my life to the Lord. And right there, when I decided to give my life to the Lord, that was the journey from the mind to the mind switch.
Wow.
So I really will open my mind to different things in life is I started reading books. So because when you're in poverty, you only learn certain things. You're limited in your environment and in your thinking. But then when you come out of that and you start reading books and you started listening to people who grew wealth and started businesses, and, you know, knowledge is in the books for a reason.
That's right.
And when I started reading those books, that opened my mind to what this world really have for me. Because at one point in time, I was only taught 2 things: to be a rapper or a football player.
Yeah.
And I wasn't talented enough to rap, okay? I can't sing, I can't rap.
No DJ Big Mike anywhere?
No DJ Big Mike. No, sir.
Okay.
No DJ Big Mike, okay?
All right.
So, but football was what I thought was my way out. And when I realized that wasn't a reality for me, I got into this deep depression and didn't realize what I could offer in life.
Yeah.
Because I was only taught 2 things. You could be an athlete or you could be a rapper.
So since I'm guessing you didn't rap, since your talent didn't go in that direction, what did football, how did football contribute to your entrepreneurial journey, who you are today?
Football taught me a lot of discipline.
Okay.
And that's where I feel like in today's world, a lot of young men, we like discipline. And football taught me that discipline as a young man. And so now I apply that to my life today. Waking up at, early in the morning for early football practice, 5 o'clock in the morning practices, going to the gym, eating right, make sure you have the right grades so you can play football, and all the discipline that they put you in. When you're in the middle, when you out there and the lights are on and you got fans in the stadium, and you hear all the noise around you, and when you're in the 4th and goal and you got 5 seconds left on the clock, you have to use your discipline to get you through those tough times.
Absolutely.
And so I apply that to my life today, and I also apply that to my business. And I remember when I was in football, I was dedicated. Also, I was disciplined, but it also taught me dedication. But I used to walk to football practice because I didn't have a ride. One time, and all my players and all my buddies will tell you this. One time in practice, I was late, and I had a buddy of mine. He had this itty bitty pocket motorcycle, and it was like almost a 30-minute walk to practice. So he let me use his motorcycle, like the little pocket motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I drove that little bad boy. He got all 6 foot, 260 pounds me on this itty bitty pocket rocket little motorcycle.
So you are riding this thing, probably hanging over both sides,
Hanging
right?
over both sides,
That's what
man.
I would do.
I had my helmet on, my shoulder pads on. I said, no matter what I'm going to do, I'm going to get to football practice.
There you go.
'Cause in my mind, I thought that was my way out. So I was like, I got to do something exponential. I have to do something great so I can get out of this poverty.
Come on, man.
So the discipline football taught me and the dedication that I gave to the game, I apply that to my life today. I used to watch film all day long. I used to watch the greats of the greats. I used to watch those guys. I used to dissect them, what they like from their stance to when they exploded off their stance to how they handled themselves. I learned how to juggle because one professional defensive lineman said his hand coordination helped him from juggling.
Really?
So I'm not saying I could juggle like 5, 6 different things,
Yeah.
but I could juggle a little bit because it was helping my hand-eye coordination.
Absolutely.
But that dedication and the learning process that I took from football, I apply that today in my own personal life and with my business.
Okay, so let's talk about your business, right? So you're a realtor. Go ahead and share who you work with and what your team's all about.
Okay, awesome. So I work with Verma Associates. Shout out to Verma, Krishna Verma. She's a amazing lady. I love it because she reminds me of my old football coach.
Oh, wow.
She's in my face with it, and I love that. we had a meeting not too long ago, and she told me, you know what, Mike, if you want to do great, you need to get off your butt and get to work.
Now, those are big words from
Yes.
someone that I'm sure is probably a little smaller than you,
yeah,
right?
She's probably like 5'5".
Wow. Okay, so keep going.
I love it though. So I'm a realtor. I love real estate, and real estate is going to be the thing to change. Well, it's the thing that's changing my life, and I love helping people change their life. So, but yeah, and one of my favorite things about working with Verma Associates is we always encourage one another to be better people.
That's so good.
And that's one of my favorite things about that.
That's so good. So, as a real estate agent, I mean, obviously, I met you a few weeks back at a networking meeting, man. Just, you're so easy to talk to. Clearly, connection and relationship is a maybe even a spiritual gift of yours. It's pretty incredible how good you are at it. As a real estate agent, what strategies do you employ to make meaningful connections with people and to build trust?
That's a great question. And some of the strategies that I do is, first, I like to meet you, who you are. I don't have real estate first on my mind. I have you on my mind first.
Oh, that's good.
And I want to develop a relationship with you personally. So I don't come in and first thing I jump off is real estate. No, I ask you some of my favorite questions is, one, how are you? Where do you come from? How's your family life? What you like to do for fun? And then once we go through all that, and then a couple of days later, then I might introduce you to myself as I'm a real estate agent.
I got you.
Now, this might be different when I'm at a marketing event or or a networking event, because that's what we're there for. Hey, I'm Mike. I'm a real estate agent.
Sure.
But when I'm out there networking with people, first I want to build that trust with you as a friend. And then once I build that trust with you as a friend, then we can take that to the next level on business.
Sure.
And so I feel like that's what I really do good at, is with connecting with people on that level.
I got you. So you also said that you're an associate pastor,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So big smile come across your face when I ask you that. Tell me about your journey into ministry. I mean, you talked about your salvation story. Now you're a minister at a church. I believe you said in Centerton. Tell us about church. Tell us about your passion and what drives you in that.
Okay. Well, my passion about what Josh mentioned that is helping people in general. So I became a minister. I gave my life to the Lord, and I never in a million years would have thought I'll be a minister.
I hear that. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I never planned on leading a church either once upon a time.
Never in my life.
Yeah.
But now the journey took me down there, and now I'm a minister. We was going to a church called Calvary Church in Bentonville. I love my pastor Changer there. He trained me to be the person I am, and he was there for me every step of the way. And now he gave me an opportunity to move to the church in Centerton to help out a smaller church.
Wow.
So that church is called Christian Life Center, and I love Pastor King there, and we're his assistants. We're there to help grow the church. So one of my favorite things about being in the ministry is really helping people's life change forever. Not just by my own, but also allowing them to know they have hope, and that they have hope in Jesus. And they have something else they can lean on.
Yeah.
So like, because, people come from all different backgrounds, and people need to know they have hope. And that's why I love to spread and share its hope and let you know that although your life may have been a struggle, and you may have been down, and you may be homeless like I was, or you might have been hooked on drugs, man, you have hope. And that's one of my favorite things that I love to do as a minister and in my personal life with everything I do, is to let people know you have hope.
Come on. What a great message. Now, if you can't get a hold of that, I don't know what you can get a hold of, right? Now, I tell people all the time when they're doing business that hope is not a strategy, meaning we've got to be intentional in how we move forward.
Yes.
But what you're talking about is a different kind of hope, right? You're talking about the hope and promise of not just a future here on earth, but a future in the hereafter as well.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that was absolutely clear. Are there any parallels between your work as a realtor and your work in ministry?
Man, I would say yes, because everything across the board is always helping somebody. And so I use a lot of my ministry skills in my real estate on purpose, right? So I've constantly have to, when I'm preaching and teaching in church, I share hope and I share strategies to get to the next level. But my biggest thing is I parallel that with my real estate is to help guide people to make sure they make the best decisions for themselves.
Oh, it's so good. So good. So I'm glad you're letting those two roles complement each other without a doubt. So there are individuals out there that are struggling with poverty, right?
Yes.
There are individuals